What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's me, Interstellar Discussion, coming back again. I know I've been away for a little while, okay, but I've been doing some stuff and things and trying to catch up with life, but I'm going to talk to you today about the whole Sutton Veny experience that I went and interviewed the workers there. I measured the crop circle itself and started taking loads of data as well. So we're going to go through it today and I'm going to hopefully break down some of the funkiness that's been going on over there, man. So strap in, it's going to get real cool. Starting off with Caspersight's recording, I was actually inside of the crop circle at this moment when this footage was captured, right? This is around 2 o'clock to 2:30. And I was taking measurements and data, and at this moment, when this anomalous object was captured, you see a disc-shaped object flying across. Incredible, right? My phone was bugging out, the drone wasn't working, and this other lady called Kathy Mingo's phone wasn't working as well. She was trying to live stream and the connection kept dropping, and there was a few others as well that had their connection dropping at this time. Now, looking at this footage as well, if we're going to review it, look at this bad boy, mate, okay? There's no flight radar data, nothing in the area suggesting this. The clouds are going in the opposite direction to where this circular object is floating by. And also, on the original piece of footage that that Casper posted, there was one object he focused on specifically, and I originally thought this was a bird, but actually going into the object itself, there's probably about 3 or 4 other anomalous fast-flying, tic-tac shaped objects as well. So if you go to Casper's video that he released last night and watch it, it'll blow your mind, alright? Okay, this isn't just some normal occurrence, okay? And corresponding this piece of footage with what I experienced and multiple other people experienced in that circle at that time is funky, to say the least, man. I turned up there around 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I was one of the first people on the site at that moment, and walking up probably about half a mile from the entry point, all of the birds in the area were kind of flying around and looked restless. There was jackdaws, there was crows, there was herons, a few woodpeckers, and all around the area there were cawing and squawking and flying around and just doing some funky stuff, alright, which kind of ticked my mind off the bat. Now, walking up to the circle itself, as I entered the bottom portion of the circle in the outer ring, I immediately felt static, okay? It kind of like crept up my arms and over my shoulders, and I kind of felt at the back of my neck. And at that moment, I didn't know whether that was me actually feeling something or whether this was it. Where it was just quite overwhelming to be in such a beautiful area. But corresponding this to what I was feeling later down the line and the other anomalous stuff happening, it all makes sense. And I had a butterfly feeling in my stomach as well, so I kind of just, a bit of excitement, that overwhelming feeling. Straight off the bat, it was like, whoa. Now, I was inside the crop circle for about 7 to 8 hours, and throughout that duration, I kind of, again, the static feeling never really left, the butterflies in the stomach, and then I kept feeling like heart palpitations throughout the entire point, right? Now, these feelings persisted with multiple people, and at this moment, when this crop circle was very fresh, there was only about 30 people in that duration, 32 or so, because me and Casper, again, we shared it online, and then everyone kind of caught wind of it and people started coming. Now, the people that I bumped into all felt similar symptoms to the staticky type feeling, to the heart palpitations, to the, I guess, excitement, and just kind of feeling really centered and quiet in the head and happy and grounded, which is one thing that lots and lots of people were telling me they were feeling. Now, as I started walking around the crop circle and investigating, there was woven structures there. They were kind of woven in such a way, all nicely laid. Inspecting the stems themselves, they weren't snapped in the areas that were not trodden on, okay, because you could see where the areas that were snapped, and the areas that haven't been touched were just kind of plaited, and it was a beautiful sight. Now, looking at the way that they were laying, it was all healthy. None of the plants exhibited stress or anything of that nature. There was no browning, no wilting. They were just growing no different from the standing structures to the laid down structures, and they were just enjoying their time, right? Now, the actual barley itself started to rise up in areas, okay, and it was just kind of returning back to its initial state, kind of aiming at the sun. Now, which is very unusual, because if you step on plants or you crush them or you break them, they will wilt and they will kind of perish and kind of get a bit scraggly from the stress that they've experienced. And like my previous video, you need to watch it because I go through all the measurements, the radiation readings, the EMF random spikes that we experienced, so go check that out if you want to look in depth of that. But there was a lot of funkiness there, and mathematical precision was Like that, alright? When I was observing people walking inside the crop circle, the ladies were walking around the left side, and the men just randomly started walking around the right side, meeting in the middle and coming down. And out of the 30 people I witnessed, about 2 of them just went in and did whatever they wanted, right? Now, talking to Julius, I was told that he witnessed a fertility ritual taking place. There was nude ladies running around the outside on the left side, the nude men running around the right side, okay, and they were laughing, giggling, people in the middle doing all sorts of funky stuff, and this was about the night or so, or that this happened, okay, which is quite interesting to say the least. Now, Caspersight talked to a farm worker that was there, and I actually had a conversation with him because I was explaining to him about the nodes, the radiation readings, the mathematical precision. I showed him the physical samples as well, and he was completely baffled and just kind of mind blown. And he told me the story exactly how he told Caspersight about the triangular craft he witnessed that came over in his vicinity about a week or so ago that him and his wife saw, and Casper talked to him, and thank goodness he got his story on video, because when I tried to interview him, he was very shy at that point until I told him to go into the crop circle and experience it. So there we go. What you're seeing right here is the exact location where this crop circle appeared between these 2 tree formations. Now, measuring from both tree formations either side, they were near enough perfect in symmetry where this crop circle was placed directly in the middle, right? Now, if you look at the top right corner, there's a triangular section there where there's a ancient burial mound there, a giant obelisk stone that stands above me. I'm about 6'4" and it come above my head about this high, right? Hundreds and hundreds of years old, and it lines up perfectly with the center of the crop circle at an angle. Now, just behind that is a 5,000-year-old settlement, just behind where the obelisk is, behind that, and it lines up perfectly, 1, 2, 3 down to the center. Now, if you're standing in a crop circle and you're staring up to the hill where you see the obelisk and the settlement, if you do a 180 and turn the opposite direction, there's a church directly in the distance, not too far, and you see the steeple, and it lines up absolutely perfectly with everything there, okay? If you lay this on a map, it's just perfect, diagonal structure lining up with the crop circle, man. Now, the geological structure of the area is chalk rich and quartz crystal deposits as well, which is a major part of the process where these genuine anomalous type crop circles appear in these specific locations, all right? Because one, lots of history, the geological charge of the crystals and the chalk itself that acts like potential resonance chambers, which has been very well documented, is all part of the process there. Now, the specific site of Sutton Veny, or Veny, however you want to pronounce it, is a ley line convergence point. If you look at a ley line map, the whole area of the Wiltshire section, and obviously where around Sutton Veny is, near Stonehenge, Avebury and the Glastonbury, all of the ley lines converge, man. It's like a giant dartboard, and it explains why there's a lot of anomalous activity happening in and around that area, right? Now, while I was inside the crop circle, I was looking at the birds and how they're reacting in the area, because like in the morning they were all kind of restless and it was just very intriguing. Now, inside the crop circle itself, watching the birds fly around, they were actively going on the outside of this crop circle. They were not coming in, and there was one instance where the jackdaw came in and it kind of went in and immediately kind of flew around and flew out again, right? Very weird. Now, there was another encounter with a puppy that Kathy Ming that came in, and she brought a puppy into the crop circle. Now, the bottom section, it was fine, but the moment she brought it up into the middle section, it started to get restless. It kind of got its heckles up a little bit and kind of was jittering about, and it kept trying to nip the back of this lady's t-shirt. So Kathy had to bring her dog out of the circle and obviously take it back to the car park area where the crop circle is itself, which is just very weird and a major indicator for things on the paranormal, UFO topic, or just genuinely weird areas, is how animals react and behave on the location. Now, talking to Julius himself on the video, on the previous video that I've made, he also states that his livestock is acting strangely by just staring constantly in the area where this place was formed. Whether that is just kind of the people in the area, but he said basically this is from before we were there. Livestock, cows, horses, just staring in that area. So if the trees and the livestock could speak, we would probably find out some quite profound things. So yeah, there's 3 separate instances where there was animals behaving and acting very strange. Now, this crop circle was reported at 6 o'clock in the morning on May 15th, right? Equines that saw this structure in the field, and they called Julius immediately. I'm like, there's something going on in the field that you need to come check out. Right, so the night before, Julius was working up until about 10 o'clock in the morning. There was people that are watering trees at a plantation just near it that are to about 10:30 at night. And between that point, I thought, okay, that's quite a big window for this crop circle to appear. Then, the gamekeeper and the site security came up to me later. He called himself Druid or Pagan. I can't remember which one it was. And he was working up until about 3 in the morning because he was observing the pheasant population on the site, counting heads and obviously looking at the cattle and making sure that the livestock and stuff was okay. At 3 in the morning at that specific vicinity up on the hill where he was looking, there was nothing to be reported. He went to bed as normal. So, there's a time period between 3 in the morning and 6 that this crop circle appeared in the dead of night. It is absolutely incredible. It's 75 meters in diameter. It's huge, mathematically perfect, and to get into an area such as this farm, which is completely closed off, there's electronic gates to get on the site. There's people working at all hours of the night, right? So you are not getting in or out there without someone seeing you, let alone flying drones in the sky and making a racket with multiple people trying to plan and do this thing at the dead of night. So talking to Julius, talking to the equines that also were too shy to talk to me on camera, but their story is cool nonetheless. A couple of days before, and the neighbours as well that are near the farm all reported seeing lights in the sky. Now, if you look at a flight radar and stuff of that nature, there's nothing really happening in that area, even if it's military or something else. So these lights were kind of thought at the start that, you know, it could be a military activity, something more, but there was no sound or anything in relation to what these people were talking about. So it's completely silent, weird lights. Crop circle appears about a day or two later. And also we have the other farm workers account that Caspersight managed to record of triangular objects. Blacker than a night sky, no lights, and then darting off at silly speeds, right? I just want to say a massive well done for Caspersight going there and interviewing people separately and also conducting his own research. And we walked straight past each other, which is I'm absolutely gutted about, and I could have shared, and we could have shared so much information with one another at that point. But he's brilliant. Big love to Ben. I really hope we kind of cross paths at some point, man. But again, talking about this guy's story as well. So we had the orbs, we had his triangular craft account, and me living in Warminster with my family for 7+ years, I have seen many of the phenomena that everyone has been talking about, okay, over around the Clay Hill area. So a lot of what these people are talking about explaining matches up perfectly with my experiences as well. And we had a lot of profound experiences in Warminster and Wiltshire itself. If you're from America, or anywhere across the world, if you want to experience the funkiness of the UFO world, the paranormal world, Wiltshire is the place to be from spring all the way down to autumnal. And you do get some weird stuff happening in the winter periods, but between the spring and the autumnal period, it is just a hive mind of activity, all right? And yeah, so there we go. We have connections between each major crop circle that has appeared. It has appeared after a major solar flare event. And the more anomalous type unexplainable crop circles have also appeared around X-class solar flares. Now, on May 14th to May 15th, we had a succession of 2 X-class solar flares happening, okay? With this crop circle appearing, and it's just a giant phenomena in itself. It's absolutely incredible, but I hope this kind of answers some question, guys, and I hope you enjoy. Big love. Let me know what you think, and get this video towards Ben as well. Send it his way so we can watch and hopefully pick up some of the information that I've seen as well. So yeah, big love, everyone. Peace.